Welcome to One in the Shibal with Suji and Ed. This is a WWE. Why did I sound like a fucking...
Welcome!
Welcome to One in the Shibal with Suji and Ed.
We're just two Asian Americans talking shit about shit.
Beep.
So I guess we should tell you that this is being recorded right after the last episode that was being recorded.
Pre-recorded. And then we're going to record next week's
another
episode.
one because we have things to do this month.
Everyone except me, because I'm a loser.
You're not a loser. You just have different priorities for certain things.
That sounds like I'm a loser.
I would never say that.
But yeah, everyone else is going somewhere except me.
So we're doing a little, what do you call it? Little content bundle.
Well, that sounds weird. I was like, pre-recording? I was
I
like,
know,
oh,
sure,
no.
whatever. So when we ask how our week was, it's the same week as last week, is what I'm saying. So we're traveling in time, but
Yeah. But I was gonna punk you guys and pretend to have a ring on and say I got married. Because if you watched last week's episode that we recorded 5 minutes ago.
Which is also why we're in the exact same clothes and nothing has changed.
But I did bring a shirt and maybe a hat for next week's episode, so you don't.
But now we already told everybody, so they're gonna know all you did was change your shirt.
It's still
We're
black
doing
anyway.
great. We're doing great.
So
how was your week? Just kidding.
Yeah.
Did
you watch did you hear about that kid, Alex Kim or whatever his name is, who's getting in trouble because he rented he chartered a helicopter and then filmed that video? You didn't hear about this?
No.
There's this like content creator who he's Asian. His name's like Alex Kim or whatever. And he chartered this helicopter and they shoot fireworks out of the helicopter at his Lamborghini that's driving by.
At whose Lamborghini?
I think it's his.
So somebody's driving his Lamborghini while he's
driving the Lamborghini, whatever it is. Someone is shooting fireworks at a Lamborghini while I think he's driving it, which is like whatever. And they're doing it out in the middle of the desert. It's like in the middle of nowhere. But
is that legal? I feel like no.
So like it's only not legal because they're shooting fireworks out of a helicopter, which is like technically explosives.
Okay.
And if you were doing it for a movie, that's fine, but you have to get permits. And he didn't get any permits, so now now they're like going after him for it, and I think he's gonna get like jail time and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's crazy because police officers are literally kidnapping children and not letting them out of UCLA. Not children, like students. I should have said students. Did you hear about that? This is gonna be a week later, but this happened like yesterday or 2 days ago. There's like protesters at UCLA, and the cops like cornered them and wouldn't let them leave the area.
That was just a weird segue to go from one thing to the next. That's the only reason I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
how are they connected?
But I just mean like, it's just like
what
going after this.
What they're
like,
prioritizing.
Right. It almost seems like a distraction almost, if you will.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Although I will say, maybe don't shoot fireworks out of a helicopter to a moving vehicle. I feel like that he still is making a bad choice.
He did make a bad choice, but I think they were at least in the fact that they're like, hey, if anyone's going to get injured, it's us. No one else is around. But you should still have permits because the permits will make you probably get first responders and insurance.
Yeah, right. You need to have a lot of things in order to do something like that.
Pretty cool.
Well, and that's the thing too, though, is that content creators and things like that there need to be precedents set for the things that they do. I watch content creators do crazy shit all the time, and it's like there are going to be
and they watch people like Mr. Beast do crazy stuff, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast gets
I'm sure he has a whole team of people who make sure that permits are in order, any legality, any insurance. There are, things in place. And if anything goes wrong, or if somebody decides to file a lawsuit, or if somebody decides that, they don't want to participate anymore, I'm sure NDAs, I'm sure that there are, contracts and all kinds of shit. There's no way that he just is going out and doing these things without having legal protections. Not at his size. You know what I mean? He's got how many bajillion followers?
Yeah.
Millions and millions.
He literally has a whole team, probably in divisions.
I'm sure.
Marketing,
he has
legal.
to protect all of the stuff that he's doing. That's why I'm very cautious with the content that I create. I keep it very, very, because the more broadly you do things, the harder it is to kind of keep track. I watched this girl, I can't remember her name. She like starts these GoFundMes for herself because she's like, oh, I had to move and I'm, in a bad way financially and I need help paying my rent. Please help me with my GoFundMe. And now GoFundMe is like, okay, well, we need to have the receipts from you paying this money towards your rent. We need to contact the leasing property or whatever. And we need, because you have to have proof. Otherwise it's a fucking felony. Misappropriating funds from certain things is a felony.
Yeah, that is true when you say it that way.
Yeah, so you can't just be like, oh, my kid needs a new kidney and I need money for surgery and then buy, a car. They can't do that. It's all under false pretense or whatever. So she now is in big trouble, probably with the IRS and with GoFundMe.
She was lying?
We think, because she's like, I'm not, that's an invasion of my privacy. I don't have to, no. You've entered into a contract with GoFundMe. You agreed to their terms of service. Their terms of service are you have to then prove to us that you are appropriating these funds in the way that you said that you would.
Yeah.
And if you're not, that is a fucking felony.
Yeah.
And now she's like, I think maybe in denial about it. And she's like, I'm not showing them anything. That is my privacy. I don't have to do that. I'm like, no.
So that makes you look so guilty.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Or you can
when you ask
the
public for your help and then used a private company to get that money, none of it is.
And if she's like, how? She's like, if they do that, I'm gonna sue GoFundMe. It's like,
for what?
Good luck, which is ironic. Like, do you think GoFundMe will start a GoFundMe for their fucking legal fees?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
She will start a GoFundMe for her legal fees.
And that's the thing is like, GoFundMe does not want you to taint their reputation by saying anybody can come on there, create a GoFundMe, and spend other people's money however they want.
Yeah,
that's not what GoFundMe is for. Like, it's just so dumb. So content creators are now will have to learn the lessons that content creation, and because it's a much newer occupation. So many people don't know so many things that they need to know, and they just go out and do things and think that there are going to be no consequences. Yeah. And it's like, even the cycle of people like rage farming to get like views and viewership and like whatever, like even that is already starting to catch up. Like, did you see the girl who made the video where she's like, I have all these friends who are dating these broke ass, and she says the N-word, and people were like, no, absolutely not.
Is that what everyone was talking about?
Yes.
I did not see that video. I heard about it.
Yes. Hopefully we can play it, or at least part of it here. And she says the N-word. And so obviously people were very quick to make reaction videos and stuff like that. What I don't think she was counting on was for people to be so quick to get her deplatformed just as quickly. Her TikTok has now been banned. Her Twitter has been banned. She got fired from her job. This is in less than 24 hours time of that.
She got banned for saying the N-word?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if she'll stay banned, but that's what happened. And she's like, oh, I'm just doing this so that I can get, a job as a pundit for a conservative media or whatever. And it's like, they're not going to want to touch you with that. You.
That's what she responded with?
Yeah.
She said she rage farmed using the N-word so she can get a job at a conservative site?
Yes. But even conservatives would be like, we don't want you just throwing around slurs. That's not what conservatism is. I mean, obviously there are conservatives that are fucking horrible.
No, but what you did just demonstrate is the fact that you have nothing going on.
Right. Well, there's also, right. Like that's the best that you can do. You're not offering insightful commentary on conservatism.
Using the N-word with getting on a conservative.
Right.
There's nothing up here.
You think that they want to connect those things? Like all you did was say a slur. You weren't even offering anything beyond that. So my point being that like all of these things in social media are catching up with themselves. You know what I mean? Like people are now getting ahead of all of these things and seeing that like you can't, it's not just the Wild West anymore.
I think people also forget that because like with social media, you're just like running, gunning, shooting in public all the time. And you're like, oh, I don't need a permit.
Right.
And it's like, sometimes you do.
Sometimes you
do.
For
the stuff that you're doing. Also, like, remember when one of the Logan Paul or Jake Paul or one of them, like, didn't they get in trouble a couple years ago because they were like filming at their house all the time? And then the city of LA came in and they were like, you need permits if you're going to keep shooting at your house.
Oh, I don't know anything about that, but I'm sure.
So, yeah. Dang, that's crazy. She really thought she was just going to get
job. But the thing is like this all moves so quickly. Like since we've been in here for the last 2 hours, who knows what could have happened between now and, between then and now. So yeah, that was her whole goal is what she says. Now, do we know that that's the truth? I don't know. Do we know? Maybe that's just her trying to save face. Who knows? But
still proving she has nothing going on up here.
Another video that she made was like, can we talk about fucking nerds? Like the nerds from high school who like loved like anime and like were like theater nerds or like whatever. And now they're like the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world and they're making like, they're politicians making laws and stuff. Can we go back to like, putting them in their place? And it's like, tell me you peaked in high school without telling me you peaked in high school. How old was she? She's probably like 23 or something. She's young. And she's like mad at the people who were in high school who've now surpassed her in success and now are making laws and making movies and making money and are in positions of power because she doesn't have that anymore. And it's like, you understand that what you're now telling everybody is that you have nothing else to offer because everything that you had to offer was in high school, so much so that you want to go back to what that was like.
Yeah.
Like, that is so pathetic. Do you know that movie Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah.
Do you remember Ogre? Where he's like, nerds. That's what she reminds me of. She's like, I hate nerds. Like, you hate nerds because they're better off than you because they worked hard and became successful. And you're just saying the N-word to try to get any kind of success. That is so fucking pathetic.
I think it's so crazy that in 2024, people don't realize that, like, oftentimes, a lot of people, when you hate on something for no reason, it's because you're jealous.
Yeah.
And then to, like, proclaim it so loudly publicly is just so wild to me all the time.
Pathetic. So pathetic. Anyway, she's a fucking asshole.
Speaking of assholes.
Oh, look, did you hear that? See a little segue I did? You weren't expecting that, were you? Speaking of assholes.
We have a bunch of them.
We love them.
Potential.
And from now on, we're going to have only Ed read.
Wait, really?
Yes, I've proclaimed
Not even the short ones?
I don't like reading. It makes me tired.
Oof, okay, here we go. Take a drink first, just in case.
Wet your whistle, why don't you? Am I the asshole for telling my Asian colleague that Panda Express isn't Asian food? I was having a takeout lunch, a poke bowl, at work once, and one of my Asian colleagues, second generation, grew up in the Midwest, was remarking that I should eat more authentic Asian food. I was a little bemused by his suggestion, since not only am I Asian, but spent the majority of my life in Hong Kong and Japan. I said that there weren't any good Asian places near work, and then he said that they just opened up a Panda Express. I responded, Panda Express isn't Asian food, and he got mad by saying, who am I to say that what Asian food is and what Asian food isn't? I said it's because I grew up in Asia, to which some colleagues thought was a low blow. Am I the asshole? Isn't Panda Express made by Asian people? Or like, it's an Asian company.
Yeah, it's still owned by a singular Chinese family.
And I know this to be very much Americanized Chinese food, but still very much Chinese
food. The word
food.
Chinese is still in there.
Yeah, it's still Chinese food.
I think everyone sucks here, kind of.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I like where you're going.
Because, like, all of it is just, like, weird.
Well, like, why would an Asian person just walk up and be like, you should eat more authentic Asian food? Like, can I just eat my food and you just shut the fuck up? How about that? How about I put some of this food in your mouth so you shut up? Because nobody fucking asked you.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of like weird projecting, maybe like, be more Asian. No, you be more, I'm more Asian.
Well, then also I grew up in Asia, so therefore I can speak to all things Asian. I fucking hate that angle too.
Which would also make sense because they were the one who was also like, Panda Express isn't Asian food. It's like.
Sure it is.
Yeah, it is.
That sounds good. I haven't had Panda Express in so long.
I've actually think I might be going, at this point, it's going to be a week ago, but I think I'm going to go to Panda Express up in Pasadena this weekend because they make burritos there.
Is that true? I heard a rumor.
That's why I want to go check it out because it's really close to my house.
Is it only the Pasadena one?
As far as I know, in this area, I think it's the only one.
Should we get in the car and go right now? I would love a Panda Express burrito.
Like, think about an orange chicken lo mein burrito. Like, what? With like a little bit of fried. I would also ask for fried rice in there. Like, load up the carbs.
Hold on. If I were going to make a Panda Express burrito, I would
get like some steak.
Tortilla, lo mein. Oh, God. Because you have to pick the protein well. Because the fried, like, orange chicken, I think, is too much, right?
No.
I go beef and broccoli.
Ugh. You could just put the beef in there, then yes. No broccoli.
Oh, yeah, you don't like broccoli. Or do you like broccoli? I guess not. Oh, maybe the cashew chicken would be really good.
Ooh, I do love That's like Kung Pao chicken, right? No.
I think it's different.
It's not
But I
spicy.
do love Kung Pao chicken
I do love
too.
Kung Pao chicken.
Because I wonder.
Damn, maybe we should both go so we can
like
get
salivating
different ones and
just
split
like
it. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, if you put too many ingredients, then you now don't taste any of them, right? That's kind of one of the things about burritos. You need kind of like a base, something acidic, and then something kind of savory. Otherwise, there's just too many things.
That's why I would also want a little bit of fried rice in there.
Just to kind of keep the
base
palate baseline a little bit.
Lo mein is flavorful, but also more base.
I think also, I also think texturally it'd be really fun to have.
I also want to know what other options they have to put in it. I guess we're all about to find out.
Okay, but what if we put the walnut shrimp in there?
Do they have walnut shrimp?
Yes, and do like sweet, and then put something spicy in it. I'm going to have to drive to Pasadena. It's so fucking far from where I am right now, but I will go. Maybe we'll do a podcast from Panda Express.
Live from
Podcast
Panda
Express.
Podcast Express. They didn't invite us or give us permission.
We do not have a permit.
But we're parked outside, recording in our cars.
That sounds really good. Because I've had, obviously.
What if we did do podcasts in our car?
Ron, is that possible?
Oh, right. People are going to be like, what the fuck are these weirdos doing?
We could have them like harnessed to the car.
Buy like GoPros. No.
We're doing too much right now. I just wanted a fucking burrito, man.
I really want that burrito. I've been thinking about it for days and I've been like, I'm going to do it.
Wait, but are you sure this is true? Not just like a weird like prank?
It could be a prank, but I'm going to go check. And then while I'm there, if they don't have burritos, but there's people going into In-N-Out being like, I will take the fried chicken sandwich, please. And then the next, because if they don't have it, I'm going to buy it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to go next door to a tortilla place and make it.
Go.
Yeah. Like I can't not.
This has to come to fruition. One way or the other. Because Korean, anything in a tortilla. Delicious.
Anything in a wrap of anything, but tortillas specifically because I love carbs.
God, I love tortillas, especially like real ones, like authentic ones made with lard.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me that.
It's preferably corn, but they never make corn burrito tortillas.
They would fall apart.
Yeah, because it's too big.
And
it's too dense. Yeah.
No, it's got to be.
But I do love corn tortillas. Like I could just eat corn tortillas on its own. So yeah, everyone there sucks.
Yeah. Boo. Are you the asshole? Yes, but so is the other guy.
Yeah. Would I be the asshole for not allowing my wife to pay? Oh, would I be the? I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Would I be the asshole for not allowing my wife to pay respect to me on our wedding day? Oh, that sounds creepy.
I need to know more.
I, 34 male, am Asian and grew up in Asia until 14 when I went to school in the U.S. I've been studying / working here since while most of my family still lives where I come from. I'm currently engaged to Anna, 29 female. She's a white American. My family is not against me marrying a foreigner, but insists we have a wedding back in my home country. Traditional style. Anna is a mellow person and is very open-minded. She has great respect for my culture and is willing to have our wedding as my family dictates. One of our traditions, ancient, not many modern couples do it now, is that on the wedding day, the bride, in front of all the guests, is supposed to pay respect to the groom by bowing down to his feet. It's to show that she's willing to obey her husband and treats him like the protector in her life. It puts the wife in a lower position than the husband. Anna sees this as part of my tradition and said she will do it. I refuse to let her. I think it's deeply disrespectful to the bride. Anna doesn't understand the full implications of the act. Now my family's mad at me. They said Anna is fine, so I should just get with the program. Would I be the asshole?
She doesn't understand the implications of bowing at somebody's feet. Like, that seems pretty clear. Like, that is an act of submission entirely.
Yeah.
So I don't think the problem is that Anna doesn't fully grasp what the tradition is. I think
he's almost like mansplaining.
No,
if she said he's
in a way that he's like, I don't want you to do that because I don't like the symbolism behind it because I don't want our marriage to be that. which I think is honorable, honestly.
It is, but I think it's mansplaining at the point where he's only seeing it from his perspective and not her perspective, where she doesn't want to maybe create waves. And it's just like, hey, man, our marriage isn't going to be like this. So if it's just for a ceremonial
and like
purposes, I would rather do it so your family doesn't hate me for the length of our marriage.
Well, okay, so does the family want them to do that?
It seems like it. They said, now my family's mad at me. They said Anna is fine, so I should get with the program.
Yeah.
Because like I just recently, I know I bring it up, but 90 Day Fiance, this one, I do love that show. Man.
You crazy.
I really do. I watch all the spinoffs. There's like 5 of them.
Crazy.
And like, there's this one where this like white girl got married to this guy from Cameroon. And in Cameroon, they still have the tradition of dowry.
Okay.
And the girl's parents, you know, the white parents from America, they were like, I don't know, this feels weird. This idea that like we're giving our daughter, selling her away for like material goods. Like we're selling her, like she's a thing. But they did it anyway because it was like, look, it's just tradition. They don't really look at her as property. They're not going to live to do as property. And I kind of feel like it's the same here, you know? Sure. Unless they're doing it for other reasons where it's like she is going to be lower and stuff. It is just.
So,
I mean, is there a broader question of like, should that ceremony be left behind?
I think the broader question is do we take traditions from our cultures and modernize them to suit and fit our current modern lifestyles?
So like, what if he then bowed back to her?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like kind of create a tradition within the tradition.
Yeah.
You know, like so my sisters and I all did the traditional Korean ceremony for our weddings.
So like, do I want to do that at 40 for both?
I don't know how are your knees. No, we didn't do the first one.
Dang, I would have loved to have seen your husband in a hanbok.
I know. We still might do it. We might do it maybe for like renewing our vows.
Oh, yeah. But only do the Korean version?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, you're gonna do both?
No. Just the Korean version and just like do a dinner. We were thinking about doing it. That'd be so fun. And there are 15? Certain things.
Sorry.
Probably like 15th. I think 15th would be good. Hello, sir. That is rude. Over here. Come here.
He's like, this is your mic now.
Thank you. And there's a particular part in the ceremony where male members of the woman's family. Wait, is it just the males? I can't remember. Members of the bride's family hit the groom's feet with a stick, the bottoms of his feet with a stick, to symbolize that he won't like run away and like, cheat on her or whatever.
Korean traditions are so
it's
funny.
Infidelity, like he won't like run, wander, right?
Because infidelity was such a problem. Yeah.
And I was like, we're not doing that because you're not doing that anyway. Like, I don't want to do that. But we did do the one where the groom carries the elder female members of the bride's family on his back.
Oh.
Yeah, like
so
a piggyback.
Like your mom?
My mom, I think, and did he do it for my older sister?
Your sister?
Yeah. And maybe like one of my aunts. And you carry them around the room to symbolize that you can support a woman.
Bad back?
Well, then fix it because that's the point. No. And so there were definitely things that I was like, I'm not doing this part, but I do want to do this part. We kind of like picked and chose what worked for us as a couple, and like what he was comfortable with and what I was comfortable with, so that we could enter into this with knowing that we were honoring my traditions and my family and my culture, but doing it in a way that made sense for us as a couple individually. So if he's not comfortable with it because of the implications of it, I think that's fair.
That is fair.
I think that's fair. And that actually makes him, I think, the opposite of an asshole. It's like, I don't want you to feel subservient to me. I don't want you to, and I definitely don't want to symbolize that to my family.
Yeah, I feel like asshole is like a too big of a term for what he's being.
Yeah.
I do feel like he's being a little much. I understand it. I get it.
I think he's being too much.
I think he's being a little much. Like if she's okay with it, then it's like whatever.
But I think he's saying to her, like, I don't want you to be okay with that. I don't want to start our marriage with you doing something like this that I feel like is so degrading to you. Which I agree. Think is so super respectful.
I think that is. I feel like that's how I would have been too.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think from her perspective. Like she just wants the family to not dislike her.
Ron just sent me a video of the burrito. I was like, Ron. Oh, burrito. We will get into that.
So I feel like, just like whatever. Or I feel like your suggestion is the best. Maybe just like alter it. Like do her feet too. Or whatever. You bow to her feet. Yeah.
I was like,
do her foot.
I think though that she is maybe being a little bit less
Passive.
Flexible. No, I think she's kind of maybe being more the asshole. It's like, this is my family. It's my culture, my traditions, and I don't feel comfortable with you doing that. So please respect that. Like you're not even part of it. So if you want to be part of it, I feel like you should do it in a way that actually honors me, the person of that culture.
No, that's true. I mean, that part is for sure. But as a white person marrying into an Asian family, and what you know about what could be an Asian family with Asian parents, like a la Crazy Rich Asians, like I feel like I get her. She's like, look, I don't want to make waves. Let's just do the thing.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Yeah. I'm happy to do it. Like I understand. So maybe they're both being the anti-assholes because they're both trying to just be so
considerate of the others / themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's what I mean. I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is just a small part. I guess. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my friend he isn't Asian? Yes.
Well, who are you to tell anybody what? Well, I don't know.
So my best friend of the last several years found out he is 20% Korean via a 23andMe genetic test that we took together right before applying for college. That's a weird thing to do together. After he found that out, he started claiming he was Asian to anyone who would listen to him, not as a fun fact, but if someone called him white, he is 80% European. I think it was like 40% French. He would correct them and be defensive. I am not white. I'm Asian.
I mean,
it's starting to seem like you're not the asshole.
Okay.
It's been about 5 years now, and something snapped in me when he snapped at a black friend that he was Asian after she had taken the test herself and found out she was 75% African and 25% Irish. She was joking because she is very dark complexioned, and she couldn't believe she had that much white in her. And then my friend came up and told her his and said something like, I was so shocked to find out I was actually Asian and not white.
You are simultaneously both. So you can't just denounce the white part because it is the majority. So
the overwhelming majority.
I mean, they're so proud.
And then she snapped at him and said, quote, dude, you're not Asian. If you claim Asian, then I can claim I'm white since I have more white in me than you do Asian. He then stormed off and then later was bad-mouthing my friend. So I snapped at him and told him the same thing. It bothers me. Because for college applications and job applications, he claims white.
Oh, but I can see where this is going.
But when it comes to any situation where he wants to be able to say he isn't white, like when he is talking to actual minorities and wants to be able to say, I'm not white, that's when he claims he is Asian. His argument when I said he isn't Asian is that even though he grew up in hillbilly hell with me, as white trailer trash.
Their words, not ours.
He did not grow up with a, quote, white culture, as there is not an American white culture. But he didn't grow up with Korean culture either. But he says he gets to choose which race he wants to identify as. I told him I've known several people who have been laughing at him over the years behind his back, and that even I think he's being ridiculous. It also just upsets me. Because my father is an actual minority and has experienced so much racism because of it. I am genuinely 50% a minority, but I look white as hell, so I've always claimed white because I know the way I look will never affect me as it has my father. Also, a minor thing, my friend's name is the whitest thing ever, so on no application or interview will anyone think he is Asian. Am I the asshole for telling my friend he isn't Asian, has no right to claim he is, unless he is willing to suffer the same obstacles that they do? No.
That was a journey. Okay. Guy discovers after thinking he's white his whole life, all the way through high school, that he's 20% Korean. How did he not know? You know what I mean? Like,
well, first off, these things aren't accurate. Like, as after you get the test, a lot of people often get updates of being like, oh, it changed a little bit. Here's something else. Oh, and the percentages are off. Like,
that happened to me.
You took one?
I took one. So my sisters, we'll get back to the Am I the Asshole in a second. We took one and it came back and it said that I was Korean, 20% Japanese, and then 9% Chinese and like 1% Mongolian. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, technically, we're all descended from Mongolians through some China.
Then I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? 20%? That's my grandfather was Japanese. Imperialism. And I was just like, my mind just like went crazy. And then a couple years later, I checked in and just said, just kidding, you're 100% Korean. I was like, you put my family through a lot. Like, we questioned a lot. And we went through quite a bit. And my mom was like,
was there a traitor in our family somewhere?
Yeah. Like, Mom, is there something that you don't know? And like, whatever. And like, we went through like quite a bit. And then it came back. And so now I don't know. So now I'm like, wait, well, so am I still 100% Korean, or is it going to change again? Like, just kidding.
And then these are specifically very inaccurate when it comes to Asian cultures,
right?
Because they don't have the data for it.
Yeah, right, exactly. So anyway, going back, claiming to be that you're Asian after having not lived in any kind of Asian way or experience.
We kind of talked about this, not technically 2 weeks ago. It's last week, theoretically, because pre-recorded. But
yes,
the idea of like, oh, I'm not white, I have a little flavor.
Right. I think that makes it very. I guess the question then, though, is like, is he embracing his Koreanness in any other way other than just claiming it, which he is not?
He's not. Yeah.
Right.
If he was like, oh my God, I'm 20% Korean.
I'm going to learn Korean. I'm going to go to Korea. I'm going to eat kimchi every day.
Yeah. At least like, I'm going to go explore the cuisine and like try to like understand and do some history learning.
Right.
No, that's not what happened.
Sorry, if I had to go to Korean school every fucking Saturday as a child, you got to do something.
If he like looked into the history and did all that stuff and research,
only claiming it when it's convenient for him, we can't do that. No. We claim it every day because we have to. Look at us. You know what I mean? There's no way I can just be like, oh, I can be this whenever it's convenient for me. I can be this when it's convenient for me. No, that's not how it works.
Yes, it is up to you on how you identify as, but not when it comes to race, because race
is from the outside in.
It is. It's a perceived perception, essentially. And I know I just use the same word in different forms, back to back. Perceived perception. But you know what I mean.
Right. Unlike gender.
Yes.
Right. Gender is like, it's something that I feel from the inside and I project it out.
Right.
Versus race is like, these are the cultural things that I've learned, the language that I've learned, the food that I eat, the way my parents think about things, and
how you
pass those down to me.
Experience the world.
That is why it's different between transgender and transracial, which is, we all know, not real.
Yeah.
So yes. No, you're not the asshole for saying that to them, especially because they use it as a crutch when they're like backed into a corner about race. Like, fuck you.
The only way you're kind of an asshole is, why are you still friends with this guy?
Walk, dude. Peace.
Yeah, literally. See ya never. Am I the asshole for making fun of a white girl for being poor because she was being racist? No. I mean, kind of.
When you're being racist, I'm kind of an all bets are off kind of person. Like, I'm kind of like, ooh,
you weren't not being an asshole, but you weren't like an asshole.
Yeah, no. When it comes to being racist, I'm like, yeah, you kind of are just gonna get what you're gonna get. Sorry. Like, I know it's beneath most people, and you shouldn't do it. And I try to refrain from it as much as I can.
But like, think about it.
Fuck you also.
If you don't take the high road, technically you're kind of an asshole. So that's what I mean. Like, kind of, you're not an asshole, but you're not like an asshole.
Yeah. Anyway, read it.
I'm Asian. More specifically, one of the only Chinese people in my grade, which has been absolutely fun these days.
Right.
Oh.
Embrace that shit.
Wow. Did not expect that to follow up that sentence. So the girl in question has been racially harassing me since the beginning of lockdown. When she DM'd and said, quote, did the bat taste
I'll
good?
kill you. Fuck you, bitch.
Thanks a lot, you fucking freak.
You know what? I'll show you, freak, bitch. Sorry. Instantly, my handball's up. Instantly, I'm like, oh, fight or fight?
I reported her to my school, and they literally just dropped it because they said tensions were high, and she couldn't be blamed because her uncle had corona. Some BS like that. Fuck that school.
I haven't even heard it called corona in a while either.
Then I got repeated messages like that from fake/newly created accounts that I suspected were from her, and I just kept blocking them until I guess she gave up because I wasn't reacting. Never feed the trolls. Never feed trolls.
Yes, sometimes. Well, because we didn't know the context. I was like, oh, you love being Chinese. That's great. Oh, you were being sarcastic. More specifically, Chinese, which has been absolutely fun these days. That was the tone. Got it. Moving on. Yep. Yeah.
My school district has chosen to do in person massively dumb, in my opinion, but whatever. On the literal second day of school, she walks up to me while I'm in lunch line and says in a thick Asian accent, "Are you eating bat dumpling?" It literally says dumpling or dog noodle.
Oh, killed it.
Yeah, she would have gotten a punch in the face.
You're okay. Mm-hmm.
Other people around me fucking laughed, and I'm sure I don't have to explain this, but I felt fucking humiliated. It finally felt like I got her off my back for a little while, and she comes back as soon as school starts, and I already know my school administration isn't going to go to bat for me.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
You didn't use that, did you?
I don't know a lot about this girl since obviously I try to avoid her, but I did know that she has shitty teeth, lived in a trailer, and was very poor. I'm ashamed to have stooped to this, but I just wanted to show her how I felt for once. So I said, I'd be less concerned with what I'm eating if I were you, and more worried about your diet, since you're the one who needs to figure out how to brush your teeth in a trailer with no running water. Stop trying to get sent to a hospital when you can't afford health care.
Oh no. I'm trying. No. Oh God. I mean,
that was like
hell.
That was like really deep. Ooh. That was very, you could feel the pain.
That was like,
you could,
wow.
Feel the driving trauma on that one.
Ooh, okay.
Other students nearby told me I went too far because, quote, it wasn't her fault she was poor. Oh,
okay.
You get that then.
That concept you understand.
Like it was my fault I was Asian.
Right.
Not that that's even something to be faulted with. She literally fucking cried. Like, I didn't cry every time she called me a fucking chink. She left me alone ever since, though, which doesn't matter since I plan on transferring anyways. I mean, like I said, you weren't not being an asshole, but you knew what you were doing because, like, you wanted her to. Sometimes you fight fire with fire.
Listen, you can only be pushed so far until you push back and you push back harder. I'm sorry. Like I said, at some point, the fucking gloves come off. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like I can only be gracious for so fucking long. I will only let you slap me in the face so many fucking times before I put my hand. I'm sorry. I'm going too far.
Yes,
sorry.
Like,
hello. I'm so sorry.
I agree. I think, like I said before.
Here's the thing, motherfucker. This is enough.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I have had enough. And you can take this and we can keep going if you want. But you're not going to want to. You got to just trust me.
When you don't take the high road, you're not an asshole, but you're not really an asshole because
when you take the high road, you're not.
When you don't take the high road, okay. Yeah. When you don't take the high road, you're not an asshole.
Love double negatives,
but you're not an asshole. Yeah, that's the avoidant part of me.
Right.
Yeah, the not wanting to take accountability for things I say.
Right. Trapdoor.
But yeah, you knew what you were doing, and it had the effect that you were hoping for. Yeah, so.
Well, what are we gonna do, right? Like, obviously, she's not somebody to be reasoned with. You're not gonna walk up to this person and be like, "Listen, I want you to understand that there are certain emotional ramifications that I'm experiencing because of your behavior." She doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't give a fuck. So you know what? Sometimes you got to hit them where it fucking hurts to get them to back the fuck off.
But I think she feels more like an asshole because people were like, "Oh, it's not her fault."
Those people can fuck off too.
They're all assholes.
Guess what? You do understand the concept that there are things outside of people's control. And to blame somebody for something that is not within their control is unfair. Oh, so you get it now when she's crying about it. But when I'm standing there having somebody call me a fucking slur and tell me that I'm eating dog, I should just take it? Fuck you.
But the thing is, it's not her fault she's poor, but she can change that.
Sure.
She can change that. So for them to understand that, but not understand race, they're all fucking assholes. In fact, you're the least asshole of them all. You're the most tightly clenched asshole there.
Kiss my ass.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, on that, nope. No. Well, we do want to thank you for joining us. That's going to be the end of this episode because we're running out of time. We have to record another one.
I'm thirsty. They lock me up in this room. They don't let me eat. They don't let me drink. I have to go pee so bad. And they just make me do episode after episode after.
We got here and I was like, I'm starving. And Susie was in her house like,
I had literally 2 pita chips. I was like, I got to get back out there.
Just kidding. But you can find us on our socials.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sujio1.
I'm at Etch-a-Sketch with a J. This sleepy one is Archie and Colt on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube as well if you're listening to the podcast. And if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell.
Ding, ding.
Otherwise, thank you for joining. Oh, no. If you would like to help us keep this podcast sustainable, think about joining our Patreon. One of the Am I the Asshole stories is available to our Patreon subscribers only, so make sure you go check us out there.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. Otherwise, thank you for joining us and catch us next time.
In 5 minutes.
Remember what I say. Okay, bye.